everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's that time again for my everyday makeup drawer rotation. A video like this is making the month roll around quicker because it never seems that long between me filming these videos. I thought I'd change the setup a little bit here. I recently filmed an eyeshadow palette declutter and filmed it on my little faux fur rug here and quite like the look of the background, so thought when I filmed this one I would have a similar setup. Let me know if you prefer the kind of over above it or it was better on an angle the way I used to be, but let me know in the comments. So let's quickly run through my thoughts on the products that I had in February's everyday makeup drawer, and then I will let you know my selections for March. But starting quickly with this one, the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. I think I used it twice, but that's probably more times than I used it in the month of January, so I'm going to keep this in for next month because it's the only way that I'm going to use it if it's constantly out in this drawer. And on to the couple of primers that I have. Obviously this box ends up in a worse mess at the end of each month. So these were the two primers that I had in the drawer. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer and this is the Flower in Your Prime Hydrating Primer. I didn't reach for this one at all, and I don't think I overly need to. It is more hydrating for primers that I need rather than filling in pores, so I'm going to take this one out because I don't have much use for it. With regards to this one, I used it a good few times, but I don't think I'll overly like it. It feels quite oily and greasy when applying it, and it does take a little while to soak in my opinion. I also used it with one of my drier foundations and I didn't feel it did an awful lot to assist it, so I'm going to take this out for next month. And onto the foundations, and I did have 3 in for February. This one is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Foundation. I got this in the shade 1 Porcelain because it was either that or L3, and I found that L3 looked a bit too dark for me, so I thought I would go for the lighter one. With regards to how light it is on me, I don't think it's too bad. I just think it's a bit too yellow for my complexion. So I can even it out when I apply my bronzer and blush and things, but the colour match just isn't quite spot on. So I'm going to keep this to one side for now. I probably will reach for it occasionally, but I don't want it in my everyday makeup drawer. And I just need to hope that they bring the shade Ivory over to the UK because it is such a nice foundation. It wears really well throughout the day and it blends nicely, and it's a foundation I can apply really quickly as well. So really want to try the different shade of that one. Then we have the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Foundation. I'm so on the fence with this foundation. Sometimes it looks really nice, other times it just sinks into the lines on my forehead and looks awful and ages me. Sometimes it clings to my dry patches, sometimes it's fine. I'm really torn because this is a really nice shade match for me. I think it looks nice, it just doesn't stay looking nice once it starts to sink into the fine lines. I'm going to take this one out for now. My skin is quite dry because I just don't think that helps it at all. And then the final foundation I had in there was my trusty Rimmel Lasting Finish Foundation. So I didn't actually reach for this at all, which is probably a good thing because it means that the foundations that I was trying last month were complete disasters. But for next month I am sticking in another new foundation to try, so I am going to keep this in just so I have got a foundation I know works for me. Here onto this concealer. This needs to go in the bin. I've just kept it in here to go over. Once I got to the end of it, I didn't like it as much as I first did, and I don't know if it's because it was obviously an open package, it might have dried out slightly, but I just felt like it was a bit cakey and I thought it was a bit too thick of a formula. I think because the one I currently use, the YSL Touche Eclat, is a quite thin, not watery, but quite a thin consistency. I think this might be too thick for under my eyes. At the moment, I don't want to purchase a full size. I mean, the YSL one does work so well for me, but obviously I'm going to take this out because I have now finished it, and I think I did get another 3 or 4 uses out of it. There's probably enough for scraping 1 use left, but it is quite dry. Then the other couple of concealers that I had is, I say, my trusty YSL Touche Eclat. I've been using this pretty much daily since about April, and it doesn't seem to be coming to an end. I do luckily have another one there in backup when this runs out because I definitely couldn't cope without this one, so this will obviously be going back into next month's. And then we have the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer. This is the one that I was using on any blemishes that I had. Now that I've finished the Barry M1 and can't replace it, I really like this concealer. It is quite high coverage, but it doesn't get overly cakey on the blemishes, and I feel like it does cover them quite nicely, and is also quite a nice shade for my skin. So we'll be putting this one back into next month as well. Then face products. Blushes first, we have a couple of Tarte ones, and this is Amazonian Clay in the shade Harmony. And I don't know if you can see there, but there is a tiny bit of pan showing through. I didn't think I would ever hit pan on one of these, but we have, and this is definitely staying in because I want to finish it as much as I can before I open a new one. Yeah. Then we have this shade, which is Ornate. This one's nowhere near being pan. Got the pattern showing quite well in that one. This is my sort of darker blush, as you can see, in the one I wear when I want a darker look. But I'm going to actually take this one out because I do have another one in mind to stick in for next month. And then we have the Benefit Hoola Bronzer. I think I prefer this one to the Park Avenue Princess one that I was using last month. I think it is slightly less orange toned, so I'm going to be keeping this one in for March. We have a couple of setting powders. This is the e.l.f. Under Eye HD Setting Powder. This is my go-to setting powder. This jar seems to be lasting forever, but this is what I use to set my under eye concealer, so we'll definitely be keeping that in. And then we have a small version of the Laura Mercier setting powder. This is what I will tend to use to set my foundation, but I don't use it an awful lot. I think I'm still going to keep it in here because it will make me use it, but at this rate I don't think I'm ever going to need to purchase the full size because this has taken long enough to go through. And highlighters. We have the Balm Mary Luminizer and the Wet n Wild Mega Glow in the shade Precious Petals. Really enjoying using both of these. This is my everyday highlighter, and again I use it every single day, barely making a dent in it, so keeping that one in there. And then this is what I apply when I want a slightly more blinding highlight. Really nice shade. Going to keep both of these in here. Then my Milani eyeshadow primer, definitely needed when using this eyeshadow palette. Going to keep it in it because I don't really have another eyeshadow primer that I know and trust. This is my eyebrows. This is the Benefit Goof Proof eyebrow pencil, my go-to trusty eyebrow pencil. Don't think I could ever go back to a powder. Also don't think I could go to a microfine tip because this is the more teardropped one, but this one is definitely staying in there. Eyeliner wise, we have the Milani Stay Put, and this is the one in the shade Espresso. I think I've only reached for this once or twice. I have had a few issues with my eye of late, so not been wanting to put extra things, especially my waterline, because it's a bit too close to my eye. So actually, I think I'm going to take this out. I don't want the temptation to put anything in my waterline for a while. I just want to leave it be to make sure my eye gets better properly, so I'm going to actually take this one out. Then we have the NYX Epic Ink eyeliner. I'm so glad that I did put this in here because it has kind of changed my opinion of it. I love this and the Tarte Man-Eater eyeliner, but having only this one to reach for has made me realise how much more I love the Man-Eater one. Don't get me wrong, this is a really good liquid eyeliner. It glides on really easily, but I do find that I make slightly more mistakes with this one. There's a couple of occasions where I did mess up my eyeshadow because it is ever so slightly of a wetter formula, so if you blink or move your eye slightly it will smudge, whereas the Man-Eater one is just the perfect amount of wetness to glide on your eyelid, but also you can, if you move your eyelid, it's not necessarily fatal. So I think I'm going to keep this one in here for now, because now that I've made a good go of it, and also I haven't opened my next Man-Eater, I don't want this to go off before I get a chance to use it up more. I don't know, as soon as I open another Man-Eater I'm just going to keep reaching for that one, so I'm going to keep it in here, but I do prefer the Tarte one. Then mascaras. So we have, first one is the Maybelline Total Temptation. I didn't find myself reaching for this very much. I never liked it to begin with. I put it in here to make me just use it up before it had to go in the bin, because I've had it open for a while and didn't want to use it very much because it is quite smudgy on me, and it does also flake by the end of the day. So this one is coming out and I'm also getting rid of it. I have the NARS Climax mascara. This is one that I wasn't overly keen on to begin with. Now I really like it. I still feel like I've got quite a lot of product left in here. and I can't remember how long exactly I've had it open for. I don't think it's at the 6-month mark yet, but I have got quite a few mascaras that I want to put in for next month, so I'm going to take it out for next month, but I don't think it needs binning just yet. I think it's still got a little bit of life left in it, because it seems a shame to bin a high-end mascara with product still left in it that's not quite 6 months old yet. And then finally we have the Benefit Bad Gal Bang, one of my favourite mascaras ever. If I need a dramatic lash, this is the one I want to reach for. I really love the brush on this because it is nice and thin, and yes, it is quite long, but I do find that it helps get into every single lash and it creates the kind of look that I want when I want that dramatic lash. But again, I've got ones here that I need to force myself to use before they go bad, so I'm going to take this one out, so I'll use the other ones. And for my eyeshadow palettes, I had the Tartelette Tease, one of my favourite ever little eyeshadow palettes. Definitely well loved, reached for this a good few times over the month, but taking it out for next month. Urban Decay Born to Run palette. I don't love this as much as I thought I would. I thought it was the sort of palette I'd been looking for, but turns out I don't think I necessarily needed it. It's not a bad eyeshadow palette. It's got quite a lot of nice shades in it. I just don't think I needed it. But it is, it's a nice palette to have in your collection. It is definitely, if you haven't got a big eyeshadow palette collection, it is a great palette to purchase as maybe one of your first high-end eyeshadow palettes. It has got the versatility of all these shades in. It's got a nice little row of neutrals there, which are the ones I've probably reached for the most, but you've still got your pops of colour around it as well. So I'd say a good palette for a beginner or someone with not a big collection, but it kind of gets lost in my palettes. So I'm going to take this one out for next month. And then finally, the Makeup Revolution Emily Edit the Want palette. This is one of my favourite ever eyeshadow palettes, I would possibly say. Yes, it's not got the quality of your high-end eyeshadow palette, but for a drugstore palette, it performs pretty well. Yes, as I say, you do need the eyeshadow primer with it to last all day, but I just love the colour story in here. I love the array of shades. I'm always inspired by this palette. I don't think I can part with it for next month, so I'm going to keep this one in for March. And then lip products. So first of all, we have the Bullet lipsticks. This is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea in the shade Surf's Up. Really enjoyed using this. It goes on nicely, it lasts a decent amount of time. I am going to take all of these lip products out, I'll just say that now, but I just want to go through each one. Probably going to reach for this more in the summer because it is that little bit lighter on me, but again, really nice formula and really nice shade. And we have this Smashbox in the shade Primrose. This is one that was in my handbag for so long because it is a really moisturising lipstick, and I think I'm going to stick it back in my handbag, to be honest. I reach for it a bit more when it's in there, and it is in my current project pan, so I want to try and get it finished as much as I can because it is melting in the tube and I'm scared it's going to snap any day soon, so I'm going to put that in my handbag. We have this Sephora Lip Stories. This is a really nice darker red shade. Again, great formula, long lasting, really nice shade. We'll continue to love and use this one. And finally, the Urban Decay, and this is a Comfort Matte Vice lipstick in the shade Stark Naked. I put this in here because I wasn't reaching for it, and I think once it's come out of here, I'm not going to reach for it, so I'm actually going to declutter this one. I know it's a matte lipstick, but I feel like it drags quite a bit on my lips. I have to go over and over to fill in all my lips, and within a few minutes it's already started to come off the sort of inner part of my lip, which other lipsticks will stay there for a bit longer, but I just feel like it fades too quickly. It just isn't that comfortable to wear, and it's not the nicest shade, so I'm just going to declutter this one because I'm not going to get my use out of it. Might as well go to someone else who might get better use out of it. And then liquid lipsticks. The one I probably reached for the most this month was the Sephora one. This is in the shade 13. Absolutely love the formula of these cream lip stains. I think they don't get raved about highly enough because it's a really nice formula, so long lasting and really opaque with nice shades. To say this is one of my favourite shades, so we'll definitely continue to love this one. We have the Jeffree Star in the shade Celebrity Skin, one of my all-time favourite liquid lipstick formulas. This was one of my favourite shades to begin with, but now we've got a couple of other shades that I think I prefer, so didn't reach for this one an awful lot, but still absolutely love these lipsticks. And then finally the Flower Beauty Miracle Matte, and this one was in the shade Rosewood. So this was my first time trying this and I really liked the formula. The applicator's not the best because it is quite flat and quite big, so you do have to be quite careful when applying it, but the colour is really nice, the formula is really comfortable, and it does have quite a decent amount of wear time, and I would definitely consider purchasing more from this line. Okay, so now we're empty again. Let's fill it back up for next month. So first of all, I'll stick in the items from February that I'm carrying over. I'll go back to foundation. The one I'm going to stick in for March is the Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation, and I got this in the shade Light Vanilla. I'm not too sure on the shade yet, I haven't even actually opened it to try it, so that's why I've kept this one in here, because if the shade isn't right at all, then obviously I'll need to have this one to fall back on. I've seen this was recommended in a recent video by Faith Drew, who compared it to the L'Oreal Pro Glow. That is a foundation that I have and really enjoy using. It's just not as easily available in the UK, whereas Bourjois is easily available in our drugstores here. So if this is a great comparable to the L'Oreal Pro Glow, then I'm very happy, because it's also reasonably priced too. So excited to give this one a go. Primer wise, I wanted to stick in this Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. It's just a small bottle sample that I got. I can't remember, it was in a subscription box of some sort, and I've used it a couple of times and I really like it. I did actually use it one time with the Makeup Revolution foundation, and I think that's one of the times it did actually work its best, so it does seem to help with that. So I'm keeping it in this little cardboard so that it doesn't get lost in this drawer, and I do end up actually reaching for it more. And concealer wise, I'm going to stick in the sample of the Boing Brightening Concealer just to see how it compares to the Industrial Strength one, to see if I like this any better, or to see if still I just need to stick to my Touche Éclat one. Blush wise, because I took out the darker Tarte one, I wanted another brighter blush to put in there. So I'm going to stick in the Balm Frat Boy. This is a blush that I bought a good while ago, but just have hardly reached for it. If I'm honest, this was kind of a late night drunk purchase. It's kind of got a bit lost in my collection because I love the Tarte blushes so much. They are the ones that I generally reach for. So I thought if I stick it in here, it'll make me use it and see what I actually think of it, because I've hardly used it enough to be able to gauge an opinion. But I do love the packaging on this with the American football style, because I'm into American football, so it kind of jumped at me that way when I was browsing online, I say, late one night. Mascara wise, I say I'm sticking quite a few in here because there are some in my collection that are either needing to be used up because I've had them a while, or I'm not reaching for them because I didn't rate them. The first one is this Too Faced Size Queen mascara, and this was one that I got on sale in TK Maxx. I think I paid about £5 for it. I'd never heard of it before, but the name matches the size of the brush, because the brush is absolutely huge. I really struggle to coat my lashes with this because the brush is that huge, but I know I didn't pay a lot for it, but still a higher mascara, so I want to use a bit more of it because I've only managed to use this a few times. It didn't create that dramatic of a lash considering the size of the brush, so to me it was more of a day-to-day mascara. Then we have the Maybelline The Falsies Push Up Drama. I think I also got this one in TK Maxx as well, and I think this was only £2.99 or something like that. This one has a really hard brush. Now I don't mind the rubber brushes on mascaras, but this one is one of those ones that kind of hurt slightly when you use it. So I want to give this one a few more goes, and then if I just don't like it, I'm just going to get rid of it. Then we have the Wet n Wild Lash Renegade mascara. This one kind of got forgotten about because it wasn't stored with the rest of my mascaras due to the packaging. It is really unpractical to store. So this one has a rubber applicator, but it's got the weird ball shape at the end. I remember it being an okay mascara. It's been open for a little while, so I just want to use it up as best I can before I need to get rid. But yeah, the packaging is just so impractical. And finally, another one with impractical packaging is this L'Oreal Unlimited mascara. This is the one that does bend, so you can use it as a straight brush or you can bend it to help apply. I liked the idea of it. In practice, it's not the easiest to use. It is fine for your right eye, but I find the bend harder to use on my left eye. So again, I'm mainly sticking in here because awkward packaging, I want to use it up so I can get rid of it and not have it in a random place where not not where the rest of my mascara is. So that's why there's 4 mascaras this time. There's like an honourable throw in here, and that is the Carmex Peach and Mango Burst Lip Balm. This is a lip balm I have been putting on most days. It makes sense for it to be in my everyday makeup drawer. It's a really nice lip balm. I haven't worn lip balm religiously for years. This is the first time I have. I'm not a massive fan of how it comes out and the actual application process, but it's a really good lip balm and it smells amazing. So I'm making my way through this fairly quickly, and we'll have to probably get another pump purchased. And on to eyeshadow palettes, seeing as we already have one sitting here. The next one I'm going to stick in is the Colourpop Ooh La La eyeshadow palette. And if you see my recent eyeshadow palette declutter, you will see that I nearly actually got rid of this palette. I haven't had it in my collection that long, literally a couple of months, but I just can't seem to get to like it. I find that the formula is inconsistent in it, but so I need to put it in here to make me use it. It's not going to be the best everyday palette because it's only kind of these 2 shades that I could maybe get away with on an everyday basis, but I do need to try and use it and make an informed decision whether to get rid of it or not, because otherwise it's just going to sit stale in my collection. And then the final palette I'm putting in is the Balm Meet Matchmaker. This is one of my favourite eyeshadow palettes, and it was during my declutter and talking about it that I realised how much I did still love this palette, and I wanted to give it some love again, so I'm sticking this back in here. Plus, perfect everyday eyeshadow palette. You've got your duos, you can just use one of them or you can mix and match, so really love using this palette. Then on to lip products. The first one I'm putting in is this Tarte Rainforest to the Sea. This one is in the shade Surfs Up. And this is one that is in my project pan and has not very much product left in it, so I'm putting it in here in the hope that I can get it finished up soon. The bullet lipstick I'm putting in is the Smashbox Be Legendary, and this is in the shade Mauve Matte, and this is quite a light pink and it is a very matte formula. After trying the Be Legendary minis, I thought I really liked the formula, and when I ordered this I don't think I'd appreciated it was matte. I'd just gone for the shade, so this is a more drying formula than the ones that are included in the Be Legendary lip sets, which is one that was in last month. So it is quite a drying formula. Weather's getting slightly warmer now, so I don't mind as drying of a formula on my lips, so I wanted to put this in here to make me use it because I think it was a good £14 or £15 and it's just not getting used very much, so I'm sticking it in. And on to liquid lipsticks. This is a Bite Beauty Amuse Bouche lipstick, can't say it, in the shade Chutney, and it is a really nice kind of warm mauvey pink shade. I'm not too sure where I stand with the formula on this one. I don't hate it, but it's another one of those, it's not the easiest to keep within the lip line. You've got to be quite careful applying it, and again, because the applicator is quite long, it is a bit more difficult to apply, but once it's on, it stays in place nicely, it lasts a good amount of time. It does stay sticky for quite a while, it doesn't completely like dry down, but I don't think it lends itself to be a matte lipstick anyway, so I want to get more use out of this because it is a really nice shade. Then we have a Bare Minerals Gen Nude, and this is in the shade Friendship. This is a really nice warm nudie brown shade. Haven't reached for this an awful lot in a while, so wanted to give this one some more love. Same with this one. This is a Gerard Cosmetics Hydra Matte, and this is in the shade 1995. Haven't reached for this in a good while as well, and I can't even remember what my thoughts are on this formula, so wanted to stick this in to use this one. And then finally wanted to put in one of my Stila minis, and this is in the shade Patina. This wasn't my favourite liquid lipstick formula, and I think because of that this has kind of gone to the back of my drawer and I've not been reaching for it a lot, so I wanted to pull this out and give this one some more love. It is a really nice shade. I say I just wasn't a big massive fan of the formula. That is it for my everyday makeup drawer going forward for March and my review of my contents of February's drawer. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.